Hello, my friends. Today is May the 26th, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card pull to cover the year to follow, approximately 7 to 10 minutes long, so bear with me. I do psychic readings and I do healing work either via the internet or at my place in Albuquerque. You look at my credits. This is the four-card pull for the year to follow, a general energy card for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card. This is the general energy card of the year, and it's the bridge. That asks you to reflect upon either being a bridge or needing a bridge between two belief systems, two factions, two people, you and someone else, or two other people, or two groups that can't see eye to eye and can't see to make a decision that's communal, can't seem to get away from partisanship, can't seem to get away from uh, Hatfield's and McCoy's mentality, can't seem to get away from blame and righteous thinking that doesn't allow the other to have their own sense of righteousness in the moment. So this is, are you the bridge? Are you the one needing a bridge? But there's something about a bridge this year that's extremely important for two sides to come together, for two sides to find like-mindedness. More importantly, for two sides to be listened to, each one totally, wholly, truthfully, down to the emotional content of really what is going on, because the emotions are the things that often bind us up. It's the mental things we can decide upon, but if the emotions aren't fed, and if the fears grow, and if if one doesn't feel emotionally taken care of in the decisions that are made, then that can create a lot of more pain, and it won't get you anywhere. So this is all about the bridge this year. So here's your particular challenge: Five of Wands. In a lot of ways, you're either, again, as I said, Five of Wands is about what you're doing with your passion, your fire, and your identity and your will. What will you do? These show people fighting for some kind of cause. Now, are they fighting, physically fighting, or just verbally fighting? That's, up to whatever the moment brings. But in most regards, it's about anger being thrown and accusations being thrown, and this side versus that side, and a lot of fire, and this is who I am, and this is how I define myself, and I can't define myself by how you define yourself, and you are this and I am that, and all those judgments and pains that can get thrown around. Now, this Five of Wands doesn't have to be about confrontation, doesn't have to be about trying to hold up your inspiration when nobody else sees it your way, or a whole nother side doesn't see it your way. But so there's a challenge in here to progress. There's a challenge when this kind of situation is here to move forward, to understand how to best work with two sides that believe two different things and can't hear the other side at all speak about what they're talking about, what they know, what they live through, their personal life situations in this, and what the decisions made might, how they might reflect upon them. So either you're one of these sides, or you're someone who's so tired of the sides that you're trying to find a way to bridge the sides. You're trying to find a way to bring the two sides together and talk about something that's deeper and more profound in a situation, and not just about facts and opinions. And there's this need for, here it is, here's the action to take. There's this need for the deer energy, the gentleness energy, the nurturing energy, the kind energy. Deer they're vegetarians. They run from danger. They have astute senses that don't let them often get trapped in a situation. They're always watchful. They're always aware, but they're also living their lives, and taking care of their families, and having joyful families, and frolicking, and loving and grazing, and living the lives of deers. A deer will also is very formidable if you need to come across one and is 2 to 3 times as big as you are, and they feel threatened, they might, come at you. So deer is not a helpless creature. Deer is a choice generally to run away because they know they're fast and they know they can usually take care of themselves that way. So that's I think the energy for you is, you can take care of yourself regardless of what happens. You can run away fast. You can defend yourself if you absolutely need to. But most of the time, you're a gentle soul, and you want to bring gentleness to situations and kindness and consideration. So, stepping in as the bridge. With this as your mantra, with this as your totem, the deer, gentleness means, you can listen to both sides or all sides. You can also share your own side, the gentleness of your soul, and talk about where your challenge lies with one side or another. Whether you're the bridge between two other factions or you are one of the beings needed a bridge between, there's a bridge that needs to be between so that there can be, someone who doesn't have a position, take a position, hold a position strong, but can hear all sides, both sides, equally, fairly, truthfully, and reflect back to them, what they're saying so that they can understand deeper, what is the emotional underpinning in the decisions that are about to be made. And with that gentleness and with that willingness to, not take sides and not blame, but to listen wholly and truthfully and talk to each person or being or entity about what they're experiencing, then do you broaden the scope and then do you find a way to find the commonality, the humanity in the situation. That's ultimately what we're trying to do, is find the humanity in all of our situations so we can become conscious, so we can become peaceful, so that we can see the redemption of our pain, so that we can understand that our pain and our emotional baggage and our fears are all our teachers, and they, once we don't give over to them as the things that are controlling us, then do we flourish. Then do we feel safe enough, and do we feel honest enough, and do we feel you know defining enough of our spiritual centers, and do we feel loving enough and holy enough and sacred enough, and see that sacred in every being in front of us, in that highest state of being. There's no separation, and we are not a solid energy creature. We just dissolve into the communality of the entire thing. So it's futile to hurt each other. We can do so much more by helping each other. And I think that is the lesson here. The bridge is the soul of humanity, and either you're going to bridge the soul of humanity, or you're going to be asked to have someone come in to bridge the soul of humanity, because the way the things are progressing is just more fighting, and more fighting. And is that going to get anyone anywhere by holding the resentments and the rages and the angers on and on? Hatfields and McCoys just want to fight. That doesn't get you anywhere. It just keeps you always on fear and always, stuck in some damaging pattern. May the tensions lift, and may the honesty prevail, and may the bridge be built that spans the differences but finds the commonality. Ho.